the National Secretary of our great party, the Social Democratic Party, His Excellency Dr. Ablaze, two-time Minister of the Federal Republic and pioneer Corps Marshal of Safety. You're welcome, sir. His Excellency the Deputy Governorship candidate of our great party for Kogi State 2023 governorship election, His Excellency Chief Sam Ronti Adename. You're welcome, sir.
My pleasure.
The National Organizing Secretary of the Great Party, Pastor Joe Achilleabu. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Hajia Miriam Maggie Batubo, the National Treasurer. It's a pleasure to have you, man. Damasa Nedio, the Deputy National Secretary and the former National Public Secretary of our Constitutive Forum. Alaji Muhammad Dio. Welcome, you, sir. We also have in the house the spokesperson for the Muri governorship campaign, the Director of Communication of this project, my good brother and friend, Faru. Welcome. My name is Ambassador for the National Public Secretary of this great party. It's my pleasure to welcome all of us, distinguished members of the Father's State of the Realm. Thank you so much for this spending your time to come here. We're here to just have very important press conference to be presided over by the National Secretary of our great party, His Excellency Dr. Ablaze, and just to speak about ongoing developments in Kogi State and the body policy of Nigeria in general. Your Excellency, you have the floor, sir.
Gentlemen of the press, Your Excellency, the incoming Deputy Governor of Kogi State, let me give you the structure of this brief but belated press conference. I will make an opening remark which is already put in a formal way on one page, which you will have. I will be supported by a 3 minutes to 4 minutes video, which can become 5 minutes because we will pause it as I talk. Okay. Then now the Deputy Governor will say a word to address you, and then now I think Farouk probably has a formal statement also to make. Then questions can come up. This part of it is just to show you our incoming governor as he prepares to go into campaigns and so on. And this is divided into like 3 sections. The first section is to show we have a popular candidate, we have a good candidate, and then at the end of the day, there's a resolve to bar him from coming into Kogi. The first attempt was shown to you. The man. Okay, you saw the first attempt of what happened. You saw it, both of you came here before, saw that. And then go ahead to second attempt. Okay. There's a second resolve to stop him. The second resolve to stop him is actually more brutal than the first and the second, because this is the third one. The first time was 3rd of June. They actually shot at him and the barricaded the road, and the motorcade had to turn back to Abuja. Then as he prepared to go for the second one, okay, they went to a Jule in Ofu local government and shot at Okwa and other people and killed other people. So trip was abated. And as they tried to, a third time to come, they did all sorts of things which this tries to show. Okay, so go ahead. They put an arrest order on him, arrest him at sight, whether you kill him or you don't kill him. No emirs can receive visitors and so on, any political leader, they said people around. Okay? Then of course, you see the case of the antelope and the lion again. Again, the antelope had to survive because it has smarted the lion. Okay, so nothing can stop God and people of Kogi State. Eventually, either people received their beloved son. This is the deputy governor here. The governor is at the middle, and it was a welcome that we have never seen in the politics of Kogi State. You can see this is what people who wanted to arrest Muri or shoot him or kill him were here, but they knew they dare not do it because of the volume of the people that were there. Okay? Then besides, they did not know how Muri got here. Okay? And I can tell you secretly that he actually disappeared from where he was and reappeared again in this pause here. After he had successfully entered Kogi, in spite all the threats, in spite all the barricades, in spite all the blockades, in spite all the repressive measures that were made, a local edict or executive order was made. No emir can receive politician. And they put things everywhere, but he came in and the people received him. Those of you who are from Kogi here know that they have never seen something like that before. But this is the response. This is how they reacted to it. They put non-state actors together to set his office on fire. Okay? Go ahead. If you look on the left, these are the people doing it actively. We have their videos, we have their identity, and so on. Okay? They try to get the office burnt. But of course, the truth of the matter is that this will not deter us. Okay? And here, pause on this. This is the end of this video. Okay? And that is why I start my very short message. Yaya Bello needs to be called to order. As I speak to you, we have double security here because we had yesterday that some people were planning to even come and destroy this office. Okay? You cannot run the new Nigeria we wish to be in this form. So let me read my one-page this thing, and they give you. Let me stand on all existing protocol. May I speak on behalf of the National Working Committee that has mandated me to address you. Considering the unabated state-sponsored attacks and series of physical harassments on the candidate of SDP, Alhaji Murtala Yakubu Ajaka, the National Working Committee once again hereby respectfully call on the President of the Federal Republic, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to address the brewing social tension and the evolving state of anarchy in Kogi State. This ugly situation has arisen from the prevailing reign of political terror against opposition parties, particularly the SDP. We are therefore appealing and repeating our call to the President for a special panel of inquiry to investigate the ongoing political terrorism and extrajudicial killings in Kogi State. This is a request for a definitive call to order for the Kogi State Governor to stop the unwarranted political extremism. We have conducted our own independent findings which show that there are no genuine reasons whatsoever for the outgoing governor to harass our governorship candidate, except that the outgoing governor, Yahya Bello's administration, has fallen far below the expected standards of good governance and has now become very jittery. All economic and human development indices have shown that Kogi State have fallen below expectation in the last 8 years under Governor Bello. We shall continue to stand firmly behind Alhaji Ajaka and defend his rights to secure and safe campaigns. We have formally petitioned the office of the President, we have petitioned the office of the Inspector General of Police, and also petitioned all the service chiefs, including the DSS. We are aware that somehow in Kogi State, some of the operatives of government have been compromised. But we are confident that the appropriate actions will be taken by the various service chiefs and the President and the Inspector General. We are calling on all bastions of democracy and civil liberties, including international communities in Nigeria, to pay attention to the state-sponsored violence, extrajudicial killings, and unwarranted repressive measures in Kogi State, and to take necessary actions to prevent a social disorder and to avoid loss of lives. This is important because a subnational political crisis of this nature could actually snowball into a national crisis. Finally, we wish to enjoin you as seated here, the entire Nigerian press, the media, to push into the forefront of national discourse by prioritizing major spotlights on the unlawful activities led by state actors, illegal deployments of state apparatus, and quasi-security bodies in Kogi State under the leadership of Governor Yahya Bello, because these are only to intimidate opposition parties. These, unfortunately, have become a mega trend and a negative narrative on our democratic culture as a nation. Gentlemen of the press, I thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We now have the spokesperson of the Muri campaign organization, Farouk Abdullah, to make his brief presentation.
Once more, you're welcome to this briefing. My own job here is to possibly give you some insight into what our National Secretary has tried to explain to you. You see, gentlemen, yesterday some gunmen came to a location in Wuse, Zone 5, accompanied by about 3 or 4 policemen in uniform, and they said they had instructions by the Commissioner of Police in Kogi State to arrest our candidate Alhaji Muri Ajaka. Unfortunately, Ajaka wasn't at that location. That location was not his house. Okay. And we don't know what happened, but they were hanging around there for a long time. And our information was that they were all over town looking for Ajaka. Now, there are basic things that any lawyer here will tell you. If you have a warrant that has a particular address as a place to go,
okay,
you cannot go and execute that warrant in another address. It's not possible.
Yes.
But they were stalking him all over town yesterday. Now we have no idea what it was all about. But we did hear from one of them that he was being wanted for terrorism and gun running because of what happened on June 3rd. Let me remind you about what happened on June 3rd. On June 3rd, Ajaka was going home to Kogi with a motorcade at about 12:30, 12:40 in the afternoon of that day. The motorcade was attacked. The person who led the attack was Governor Bello himself. There was no proxy. He drove a Mercedes-Benz and crossed the road to prevent Ajaka from passing. And government came out of his car and started raining bullets on Ajaka's car. The last press conference we did here, the pictures of that car was, the pictures of bullets and all that, saw them here. We managed to escape from the place. The Navy, the Navy, the DSS, every other person, everybody was aware that our candidate was going on. Then they tried to spin that Ajaka attacked them. And of course we were able to repudiate their falsehood. Because it wasn't possible. Ajaka was going, Bello was coming from behind and overtook to cross the vehicle. And I had explained a lot of times what happened. Most people don't know who we're talking about. You see, the general impression is that when you hear that somebody is a governor, at least there's a minimum level of comportment, a minimum level of honor that you expect. But I'm sorry to say this, and I'm actually embarrassed to say this, but in Kogi State, what we have in place of the governor is an outlaw. An outlaw. Any talk on the streets can favorably rub shoulders to the governor. The governor left Abuja because he heard Ajaka was on his way to Lokoja. When Ajaka took off, his convoy took off from there, there were social media people on the convoy who started posting the convoy. That was when he got to know. And the governor's staff, his convoy staff and all that, they were not present. And he couldn't wait for them. He took a Mercedes-Benz, moved with his chief detail and a few others, and called some people to intercept Ajaka on the road. We have our information. When these people were coming yesterday, we already knew. No matter, there's nothing that happens in that place that we don't get to know. Because most people there are living under compliance. They are living under fear. So they give us information. So this information I'm giving you, this information we got from inside. Ablaze decided to take off from Abuja and started pursuing Ajaka. He knew the itinerary. The itinerary was that Ajaka was going to visit the traditional ruler of Koto, Ohimegi of Koto. So when Ajaka spent time there, by the time he moved, Bello had closed him. Close to Lokoja, we met one of the commissioners, and Ajaka stopped to greet him because Ajaka was friendly with a lot of them. And shortly after that, Bello crossed, overtook and blocked the road, and he now opened fire. Then the next thing, the spokesperson issued a statement that Ajaka came to attack Bello. A lot of people on the convoy ran helter-skelter. Some people received bullet wounds and they escaped. They bought some cars because they had mobilized some thugs ahead. You know, from here to Kogi it takes almost 2 hours. They had mobilized some thugs to join the attack. So a lot of people ran, scattered into the bush and all that. And the vehicles, they burned some vehicles. The one that had SDP branding that they saw, they didn't burn that one. What we later saw on TV was that there were guns in that pickup. We saw a gun in that pickup. That is what the commissioner of police of Kogi State, one Hakim Adesina Yusuf, is calling Alhaji Murtala Ajaka. The guns planted by Bello is what he's calling Ajaka to come and answer, and he's accusing him of terrorism. And let me tell you, you know why he's accusing him of terrorism? They will take him before a local magistrate court or high court, and terrorism is not ordinarily billable. Then the judge will now say, okay, go and remand this man in prison. And of course, when we say this, we're not saying because we don't have confidence in the judiciary. That's not what we are saying. Bello is a total conqueror. If you remember, cast your mind back, the chief judge of Kogi State, the former chief judge of Kogi State, Justice Ajana, Nasir Ajana, Bello hounded Ajana, cut the light to his house, cut water, cut telephone, cut everything. Ajana was being stopped and hounded. When he reported Ajana to the National Judicial Council here, accused him of all sorts of crimes, they investigated Ajana and gave him a clean bill of health, and he couldn't tolerate that. So he started harassing the man. Gunmen will come and shoot gun in front of the house of the chief judge and all that, until one day they say Ajana took sick, that he had COVID. He never had breast problem or anything. And he went to the isolation center in Gwagwalada. After that, we heard that the man had died. Bello said there was no COVID in Kogi. If you remember, that was very popular, wasn't it? So how did Ajana, who was staying in Kogi, how did he pick up COVID? So Ajana was the only person who officially picked COVID in Kogi and died. And that was the man Bello was hounding. And Bello came to his burial at, what do you call this place? Gudu Cemetery here. Okay? So when we say a judge in Kogi, judges in Kogi have been intimidated to do Bello's bidding. We're not saying it's because our judges are corrupt, they are not. I personally have knowledge of Kogi State judiciary, and there are lots of them are honorable men. But how many of them can stand a governor with an outlaw? That is the question. So if I give, that is why I gave you the story of the chief judge. So if Bello takes, or the Kogi State police takes Ajaka before a judge in Kogi, you can be sure that they will give order that he should be detained indefinitely, possibly until the election is over. And that is the plot. That is the plot. And then you must know, anybody who has disagreement with Bello, what you need to do to qualify as a terrorist in Kogi is if you disagree with Bello. In case you forget, in April of this year, about 8 House of Assembly members were suspended from the House of Assembly and accused of terrorism. I mean, it's a matter, you can just use Google now. 8 Kogi House members suspended for terrorism. What happened? Bello believed that, anyway, that is their party matter. But Bello believed that they went to work against his instruction. Most of them came from Kogi East. If you remember the election they did, the APC lost Kogi Central, where Bello comes from. Natasha Akpoti gave him a bloody nose in that place. Of the 5 local governments in Kogi Central, PDP won 4, and Natasha led them to victory. The only victory Bello managed, which of course everybody knew was rigged, was a 300 vote advantage over the APC candidate, PDP candidate with the central, so that they can merge, so that he was able to get the Senate from the place. But the presidential election there was lost. But in Kogi East, where our candidate now used to be in charge, was the one he was the one who commanded the APC campaign there. Every local government was won by the APC. I was a PDP man. Till today, a lot of people, a lot of candidates considered the PDP, they hold him responsible. But even those candidates that he delivered in PDP, I mean in APC, none of them can openly say they are supporting Ajaka. Not one of them, not the senator, or not the House of Rep member. That's why I'm telling you that the man is a total conqueror. Nobody has the courage to say I'm supporting Ajaka there. If you do that, their cases are in the tribunal. They believe that Bello will move into the tribunal to make them lose their seats. So none of them will come out openly. But the House of Assembly members from Kogi East, who happened to Ajaka and worked for the success of Tinubu in Kogi East, the moment they came back, he declared them terrorists. So if you check the results of the presidential election in Kogi East, which was commanded by Ajaka then, was totally, all the 9 local governments was won for President Tinubu. And in Central, where Bello was in control, only 1 local government was won in the Senate. But the 5 of them for Tinubu was lost. These are facts. So those House of Assembly members were declared terrorists. They were declared terrorists and suspended from the house, and Bello was going to go after them so that they will arraign them in court and clap them into detention. When the people started screaming out, we're not terrorists, what did we do? How did we do terrorism? And all that and all that. So the moment you are against Bello in Kogi, you are a terrorist. I will give you an example. This young man you see there, his name is Okwo. The police commissioner, Yusuf, will tell you that the man is a bandit, is a terrorist. I do not dispute that. As a matter of fact, it is difficult to defend this particular fellow you are seeing here. Very difficult to defend him. Okay? But I will tell you something. This guy was in jail. He was a prisoner in Kogi and had about 16 years to go in prison. He was sentenced to over 20 years. I think for murder or for whatever, I can't remember what it was. Bello gave him pardon and freed him from prison in the run-up to the 2019 election. This man was freed from prison and unleashed on the people of Kogi East. So he did Bello's bidding, scattered ballot boxes, shot at people. I even remember at a point, a reverend father, which I posted on my Facebook page, they caught a reverend father at a place called Ofakaga and used his head to hit what do you call it, pavement. And why did they do that? The father was not doing politics, but he was standing, and because the father was standing, it was difficult for anybody to, most of the parishioners to collect money. There was a polling unit around the church. It was difficult for any of the parishioners to collect money and vote for Bello. So this guy sees the reverend father, not indirectly, his voice, sees the reverend father and dealt with the reverend father. So there's nothing to be said in defense of this guy. But what I tell you is that the guy renounced violence. You know, as Christians, as Muslims, as any religion you believe in, whatever, no matter how bad your sin are, and you have to look, I'm no longer sinning. God forgive me. God will forgive you first. And even in society, there's a place for people to make amends for their transgressions. So this guy renounced violence. I said he wasn't doing violence anymore, and he wasn't going to support Bello anymore. You understand? There are several videos which I can produce. I don't have them here. There are several videos he made to say, look, I'm no longer doing violence. I'm supporting Murtala Ajaka. He has given us a new direction. Now we can do politics without violence. We don't need to kill, we don't need to maim, we don't need to do anything. So I'm supporting Ajaka. That was what he said. That was what the man said. The videos are there. Then one night, shortly after he made his first declaration, some people appeared in the village where he stays, the place is called Ejule. And they set his hotel ablaze, burnt down his hotel. You wonder what the village man, the hotel was worth over 200 million, 300 million. You wonder what the village man was doing to, where did he raise that money from? The money was raised from Bello. Our state resources was channeled to this criminal, this former criminal, who now built hotel and was living large. They burnt down the hotel. And he did a video and said, well, the money came from there, so if they burnt it, no problem. But that is not going to change me. I'm still committed to the renunciation of violence. Okay? It was 2 days after they burnt down this guy's hotel that they attacked Muri. They attacked our candidate on June 3rd. Then shortly after that, they came and murdered the guy. Shot him and displayed his body as if it's a trophy. This fellow, displayed his body as if it's a trophy. Then the police commissioner listed so many crimes, including the burning to death of the PDP woman leader in Kogi as one of the crimes committed by this Okwo. Madam Salome Abu. They said he was the one who burnt the woman. Eventually. But the truth, okay, yes, maybe they are telling us the truth now. Yeah. But the records we have is that another person had been arrested, 6 people were arrested, paraded, some of them, about 4 of them had been sentenced to prison as the culprits of the crime. But when this man died, they said it was the man who did it. How come they never arrested him? How come they never said he was the one who did it? How come they never declared him wanted? They gave so many terrible crimes and said he was the one who committed those crimes. And yet not once in 5 years. Sorry, do you have any more pictures? This is the zonal chairman of APC in Kogi East. His name is Muhammad Nasir or so. This is the zonal chairman of APC in Kogi East. He's the one standing with this man called bandits and terrorists who committed so much heinous crime. This is the vice chairman of local government. This man is sitting in the seat of VIPs. Maybe the picture with the chief of staff to Bello, his name is Asuku, was with Okwo. At this event, the chief of staff to Bello came to welcome Okwo. I don't know how I can expand it. This is the picture of the chief of staff to Bello, Abraham Asuku, with Okwo, came to welcome Okwo. The man who killed the woman leader, the chief of that is the picture. Okwo himself was inaugurated as the Ofu local government coordinator of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Chetima campaign organization. He was inaugurated by Bello. Okwo was one of the 67 delegates of APC who came to the National Convention, and yet the moment he said no, I'm no longer doing violence, I am supporting Muri, he became the worst terrorist on earth. The police, the navy, the thugs, DSS, over 100 to 200 people went to that village in search of this boy. Burnt down the houses, killed a woman, a nursing mother, shot and killed a nursing mother. Before they left the place, they were able to capture the man. The claim of the police was that he was killed in battle. Then he was not. He was not. And we have evidence which we are going to produce. He was bludgeoned to death after he was taken to Bello in government house. That is the kind of thing that happened in Kogi. That is the man who wants to take our candidates, to detention. I'll tell you something. There's somebody called Adelabu. Adelabu was the chairman of PDP in Okene local government in Kogi. In August 2019, shortly before the election, just like we were in July now, they are hunting Ajaka. In August 2019, people came there in uniform, said they were police and navy, and took Adelabu from his house in Okene. We trailed in PDP. I was the spokesman of PDP campaign then. We were able to trace Adelabu up to government house. After that, nobody has seen Adelabu till today. Nobody has seen him. It is believed that he has been murdered, possibly bludgeoned to death or shot and killed in government house Kogi. That is what is going on in government house Kogi. With the connivance of the local security chiefs, the DSS there, the commissioner of police, and of course the navy unit in Kogi. Adelabu disappeared. We traced him up to government house as members of the PDP. We had a press conference in the Hebrew Hotel there to raise alarm that they are taking the chairman of PDP. Till today, Adelabu has not been seen alive again.
For years.
Since 2019 August till today. Before this general election that just happened, one fellow named Shafiu, they raided one place in Tredmore and picked up one fellow named Shafiu and said the guy was a terrorist. Then Natasha Akpoti now raised the alarm instantly. She went on TV and raised the alarm and started shouting. What happened? Nephew renounced violence and said he was not going to work for Natasha Akpoti. So Nephew was picked up. They now raided the place. The person who raided the place is a naval person. His name is Charles Nicholas Akieleze or something like that. That is Bello's hitman. That is the man who goes after everybody. Several petitions have been written to the naval authorities. At the point they transferred him from Kogi. 2 days to the presidential election, Akieleze was returned back to Kogi. Akieleze supervised the digging of craters on streets of Okene and every other place in Kogi Central. If you remember during this last election, earth moving equipment, excavators were sent to streets to dig massive holes. Anywhere there's a polling unit, they will go and dig massive holes there so that people will not be able to come out for election. Because you know that if people come for election, Natasha will win. The only people that will be able to go for election are people who support Bello. Do you understand? Natasha now hired her own what do you call it?
Electric moving equipment.
And went and filled up the hole. Night before the election, that was how she was able to defeat Bello in 4 of the 5 local governments. That is the person we have as governor. Now this Shafiu we're talking about, Bello declared him a terrorist, and of course they were going to kill him initially before Natasha started shouting. And when Natasha shouted, they said, okay, Natasha, you have been harboring criminals, you have been harboring terrorists. Natasha said, no. The chief of staff, the person I showed you this picture with Okwo just now. Natasha produced pictures of Shafiu with that same chief of staff. He produced pictures of Okwo with Shafiu and Bello. I tell you something about Shafiu. Shafiu was a prisoner on death row in Suleja. Whether Bello had the power to commute death sentence and free a prisoner, I don't know. But Bello claimed to have given Shafiu amnesty and withdrew him from prison, then unleashed him on the people, on his own people in Kogi Central. And the guy was doing damage to people because of electoral reasons. over 20 criminals who were in prison, deadly criminals who were in prison, were freed in Kogi. They were freed in Kogi in 2019 because Bello was desperate. And why was that? Why is Bello so desperate? The explanation is simple. As a governor, Bello is on record at a point owed civil servants for 28 months. Nobody collected salaries. Somebody, Edward Soje, a very senior civil servant on level 16, in the course of that 28 months, Edward Soje's wife gave birth to triplets. After they were married for a very long time without children, they gave birth to triplets. Edward Soje could not afford to pay his way because the wife was staying with the relations in Abuja. Since they couldn't survive any man, she was pregnant. Edward Soje was not able to pay his way to Abuja to come and see his triplets. A man who was married for almost 14 to 16 years who didn't have children. He couldn't pay his way to come and see his children. He was that poor and broke.
Thank you, sir.
Gentlemen, sorry, I will round up now. Edward Soje committed suicide. Several civil servants committed suicide in Kogi because they were poor, they were broke, they were not collecting salaries. There is no record of any project in Kogi in the 8 years Bello has spent. If you take into account the allocations that have been collected in Kogi State, they are well in excess of 200 to 300 billion. Everything that is on ground in Kogi State is less. I mean, if you calculate it, is definitely less. So the man is desperate. The only way he can win elections is to use maximum violence. That is why Bello hires dogs, he frees dogs from prisons. Okay? Now the only threat he faces now is Ajaka. Ajaka coming out. Ajaka, I mean, the people are accepting him. The thugs is using are renouncing thuggery, they are renouncing violence to support Ajaka. So what he has done now is, number one, target Ajaka, take him out of the way. That way he will be able to win. The only way he can stop Ajaka is possibly to kill him or to get him locked up, or maybe arrange a kangaroo trial where he will be sentenced and called a criminal. Okay, that is the only way you will be able to stop him. So I'm sorry, I mean, I've taken a lot of your time, but there's so much to say about this fellow. So what we are urging the federal government to do is that Kogi State is part of Nigeria. It is actually a coup d'etat if anybody gets into power by the force of arms. If thugs kill people for you to be able to win election, or intimidate people, or use any other means, or use police, even police with, if you use police or DSS or Navy to arrest Ajaka so that you're able to gain advantage and go to power, it's a coup d'etat. If they don't know that, they should know that now. That is the way we define coup d'etat. If everybody who has access to a gun can intimidate people and kill people before it gets to power, would that be democracy? That would not be democracy. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Your Excellency, the Secretary, the National Secretary of our great party, the SDP, other members of the National Working Committee, friends of the SDP that are here, members of the 4th Estate of the REM, you're all welcome. It's almost been said of, but one critical emphasis I want to make is the fact that we have a Commissioner for Information that is good at twisting facts as they are, and he does it proactively. I had some of the junk information he placed before people a few days ago, I think yesterday, on goings on in Kogi State, particularly on the issue of the attack on the State Directorate of Campaign Office, State Directorate Campaign Office of Muri Ajaka. We have the photographic impression of the APC boss used by the thugs to convey themselves to that place in the process of carrying out that dastardly act. And they came in there, we have videos to show, where they pulled down our campaign materials and set them ablaze. But he was trying to twist the facts as they were. I want to tell you that in